teacher spontaneously gave us, all the children, this dimension. All the time he is talking about human, al-insan. This word, human, for us, meant every and each person in the whole universe, regardless of any barrier of culture, of color, of anything. We know that al-insan means a distinct creature who has an inner soul that's permeated with love, peace, fairness, consideration, respect. This is the human. In the meantime, we also were nourished by the sense of diversity. So early in our lives, we are Muslim, so we know our identity as Muslim, but it's not exclusive, it's inclusive. Because all the time he also tells us about many things about Jesus and many things from the Bible and also Buddha, Krishna, Hinduism, everything. We have heard the Nirvana when we were so young, and so I was brought up to be such a thing, alhamdulillah, up till now. And because of this, I tried to, when designing the programs, we have this spirit, and it is, when it is put in a structure, it contains spirituality, transpersonal psychology, cognitive behavioral psychology, emotional intelligence, brain science, and also social skills. So we have put all this together to keep up the spirit of oneness of humanity and the diversity of anything that's related to our actual existence, such as religion, culture, citizenship, everything that's related to our, we have two standards of identity. A global identity as humans, so we are one as humans. And we also, this is part of nature, that we are different in several aspects, but we are different to integrate, to learn from each other, and to work together. So this is the philosophical depth. About the application, I'd love to introduce Abir and Dene.
I'm Abir Zain, French teacher and a trainer on Be Yourself program. First time program, I really enjoy being myself in 3 levels: my own personality, with my kids as a mother, and finally as a teacher. Concerning, I choose to talk about my experience in teaching because I consider that teachers have effective roles in the life of their students. They also have the role to be inspiring for their students. So, concerning my experience, I worked as a French teacher just after my graduation for only 6 months because I didn't enjoy at all teaching in this time. So I decided to quit, and I worked as a French translator in the Ministry of Education for 10 years until I started taking the program Be Yourself. So I decided to take a step further and be a teacher and a trainer for this course. As a teacher, I joined an international school, and I started applying many interesting tools with my students that I noticed that I become more flexible with them. So between these tools, for example, if we say that a teacher can be inspiring for his students, can allow them to express themselves without comparing between deal with my negative thoughts, with my fears, how I become more, how I have self-control. With these tools and many other techniques I learned from this program, a relationship, a special and excellent relationship between me and the students happened. So we noticed all the schools noticed improvement in their academic level, and I really enjoy working. So I think if we can apply this, and every teacher can benefit from this program and this core, we can have a healthy relationship between teachers and students. We have teachers enjoying their work, not loaded for the curriculum and how to finish, and a student who can profit, who can benefit from his relation with the... Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Nelly. I work as a meta-NLP practitioner, and I decided to start the program through me because I thought that there is a shift and change happening in Egypt, and I would like to participate, so I thought the best thing is to start with the children of Egypt. I will be as short as possible. The program, through me, provides a holistic approach that helps the child to feel connected and centered at all times. That is the ultimate state which enables any human being to be in complete harmony with the whole universe. A human being who knows himself, accepts himself, and operates at her highest potential. The program helped me to be open and honest with myself at all times. Also open and honest with others in discernment. Being visible and being able to speak my desires, being ready and willing to know everything about myself. True Me is designed to facilitate and explore children to express their resources in achieving their highest outcomes. The program works as a catalyst to help the child expand his consciousness through unconscious communication, self-reflexivity, change and learning, implementations, systems, self-actualization. The True Me practitioner is trained to be caring, supportive, gentle, so that the child feels that he is in a safe environment to express his feelings. Yet the trainer is also challenging, pushing and directing. It's an optimal balance of support and challenge. Thank you very much.
Thank Wataniya Society for being present today. Unfortunately, Mrs. Azza Abdelhamid, who is coming to give a very short speech about Wataniya Society, just messaged me saying that she was stuck in traffic. But I want to thank Ms. Mona Shibini for coming, our board member and treasurer, as well as our tutors, our assessors and internal verifiers, Dr. Hiba Ob and Mrs. If anyone would be interested in asking any question to our practitioners present today, please, the floor is open to questions.
And maybe you can give me feedback. I'm not an educator, I'm from business school. I was really intrigued by the title Quality Education for All in Egypt. Now the all part for me implies within a very poor country. So I was expecting more ideas about base of the pyramid. How could you deliver education cheaply? You have a problem of a facility, you have a problem of a teacher, and you have a problem of children who go to school without breakfast. So we really have to talk a little bit more about those. And in some of your ideas, I can see right away a direct relation. Like a certification, for example. I could see that if the government all of a sudden decided education is a priority and we're going to make a national service around education, how could you convert some of the volunteers to qualified teachers, for example, with a very minimal setup? Do you really need a classroom? Can you have a minimum requirement classroom? Are we talking about the frugal kind of a mindset? Because we're a poor country, in the end of the day. Otherwise, maybe next time just drop the all, and it will be perfect. I'm sorry for being critical, but it's just that you really need a little bit more of a frugal mindset when you talk about all, because we're a poor country. Thank you.
Exactly to trigger this wonderful idea in relation to how to train volunteers to become qualified teachers. This is exactly what we are looking for. We are hoping, our purpose is to initiate this conversation, but it's research-based conversation, because you may be aware of educational issues more than others, but there are others who are concerned, but maybe don't have that much knowledge that you have. So we appreciate the suggestions, and in the meantime, I personally appreciate the fact that these scholars went to the fields, introduced programs that we were not aware of. And these kinds of programs, I believe the Ministry of Education maybe need to consider.
It's a brilliant research.
Right. So, right.
There is no reflection of the quality of the environment.
Right. So, thank you. Do we have the representative from schools as well?
Maybe the answer to your question, my friends here would have been practitioners in those schools with infrastructure problems, with insufficient resources, with packed classes, and let's see how they go about that and how they actually try to overcome the problem. Who would like to?
Hello everybody, my name is Ali. I'd like to thank you all for this fruitful presentation. Really, we can't believe ourselves here that you are all talking about how to enhance teacher leadership with the aim of enhancing the standard of our students, and to talk about globalization or citizenship among all students. And I like to thank Mr. Ali for his good point. We have to look at the base. Then we can upgrade everything. To do this, we need a lot of support from businessmen. My school can be described as a unique school in Egypt, not in Cairo, but in Egypt, as a governmental school. We started with the fees of about 4,500 English pounds. We introduced high quality education at that time. Egyptian pounds, sorry.
هو علشان في تغيرات في المجتمع بس اتفضل كده.
Yes. Everyone who visited us at the time would clearly see how the leader is, how the teacher is, and the well-behaved student is. Everything is okay. And after this, they asked to reduce the fees to be 2,000 pounds. All people have the same idea about this school, so they bombarded to join their students hoping before getting such quality of education. But of course, there is no quality at all. Okay? When I joined in the educational leadership diploma here in the AUC, I had one aim: how to cultivate leadership among all my teachers, not my English department, but all teachers, math, science, every branch we teach, even the technicians. And I think that I do my best to cultivate leadership among my students, how to be a leader, as I believe in we all learners and we all leaders. So how to cultivate this merit in our students and in our teachers, this is my aim that I'm going to strive for. We have to look for more support from any other resources, and we have to well choose the principal who can lead such a unique place before running this place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are they exposed to more training? Are there more trainings? Are there trainings that are suitable with their subjects in the market?
I think that we are governmental schools, so we have scholarships for all teachers who would like to join. It's okay. He is welcome at any time, because we have math teacher, we have science teacher, we have technician teacher, we have French teacher. He's not here now. We have an Arabic teacher. Okay, everybody who would like to join this scholarship, it's for free, and they do very well. It means that they are interested of enhancing their methods of teaching and so on.
Okay. Absolutely.
I don't know who you are, but I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
I'm from the School of Business. My name is Ali Aoun.
I understand. The obsession for starting this school is your question. How can we enhance education for all for Egypt? And it's a concern of every Egyptian who really cares about Egypt. This school was started with the hope of trying to provide a medium for answering that question. There's no one answer. And it's interesting, when the presentations were made, they talked about global instruments or international research, regional, local. And we could have gone down to the level of the real local, of schools or villages. And you notice in the recommendations, they were making recommendations for the school and for a policy level, right? So it's a very complex formula in terms of how do we meet the needs of all. Egypt is poor but very rich. It's rich by its people, but it's poor in terms of some of resources for a lot of the people. I don't look at it as a poor country. I look at it as economically maybe challenged, but very rich by its people. I talk about teachers. One of the questions, you want to enhance teachers. There's an Arabic term in Fahlawi. The Egyptian is a Fahlawi outside the classroom. He goes in the classroom, he loses it all, because they are forced to follow a particular plan of teaching. It's not, they are very rich. The Egyptian is very rich as far as ability. They succeed wherever they go, but we have a system that crushes them on multiple levels. The question of how do we reach the majority is a societal question. We are just one answer in terms of preparing young people, whether they are in the diploma program, the MA program, through forums, through working with the ministry, through working with schools, trying to find a resolution. But I think the lesson learned here in terms of how the issues were presented is we have to think globally, locally, but we also have to think in terms of policy work, school-based, classroom. There's no one solution to the problem. And I think Egypt is not poor. Egypt is very rich because of its people. It just happens to be passing through an economic situation where there's major economic deprivation among a large part of its population. When I was working in the ministry, my kids used to go to an international school because we were relocated, and every time I go to the school, I get very angry because I saw them, I enjoyed what they were going through, and then I went to the ministry and rode the metro and saw the majority of the people who were deprived. We can't find one solution for all, but we are trying to prepare people to work, and it's a big project, but Egypt is not poor. Maybe that's more of a positive belief, otherwise we wouldn't start the school.
Dr. Samir?
Thank you. I would like to thank everybody who was involved in preparing this seminar, and to thank the participants who gave summaries of their studies and dissertations. Obviously, I hope to see more of this happening because this is where ideas start getting exciting and moving from the realm of research into the actual work. As for my colleague here, I think the biggest problem, I come from Lebanon, the biggest problem in the Arab world, and not only in Egypt, is not the wealth, it's the wastage. We have a very high wastage rate in nearly everything we do. The productivity level is very low. The Egyptian people spend twice nearly as much as the Ministry of the Budget on education. And the level of achievement is not all that high. So yes, your second part of the question is what really tickles me more. What sort of delivery systems and or paradigms do we need for our part of the world, given that our resources in certain areas are limited? Either not the proper trained people, or the amount of funds in certain places, or reaching the outskirts of the country. And that is always a problem, not only here, everywhere. I think we should start really thinking of the modalities that are changing. We are living at an age where technology is playing a role and it's becoming cheap and available. The telephones that now nearly every Egyptian carries can be one way of reaching people, but we need to develop these things. Two things I would like to stress, which I had coming out from the four presenters indirectly. First, education is a right, it's not a service. Our governments still think of education as part of the service sector, and I think that's wrong. Right is a base given to each and every human being, and I'm glad that the new constitution recognized that, as Dr. Rassan earlier said.
The vision. The vision. The vision. I mean the vision.
Sure. Vision and mission and aligning them together is another part of our problem. We are beautiful individuals. When we come to group work, we have not been trained properly in that respect, so we are not producing at the level that is needed. But that is one of the areas that we need to, and the last point is the mindset. If we focus our minds on change, I know we will be able to succeed. And thank you very much, everyone.
My name is Tarek, and I think think I'm a little wiser than Dr. Ali because the room is full with ladies, so I will not, and the door is far away. I'll be very behaving in my questions. So, Ali is an old friend, and he's in no way, I guess, we come from the same background. He's tackling what we call the bottom of the pyramid, something that I'm a practitioner. I came from the government of Egypt. I worked for the government of the US and then the UN. And finally, I converted all this. I'm an NGO. I represent an NGO. This is where I found myself. So I'll tackle more of a practical point of view. And I agree with Dr. Samir so much when you talk about the delivery mechanism. And this is why I congratulate you. Two of your presentations talking about the delivery that I'm fighting for, which is the NGOs and civil society. There is no way you can reach without that triangle, the third angle of the triangle. We have missed it in the 60s, and I think we're coming from the same age bracket. So we talked about the private sector, we talked about the government in the 60s, and we lost what is outreaching the bottom of the pyramid that Ali is mentioning. This is why it is very important and engaging to feel that you're talking about civil society. I have a couple of generic, issues. When we talk about education, I'm coming from mechanical and economics, so I'll find that more of a technology side. We talk currently in the the 2015 agenda, you talk about sustainability development. This comes with innovation, and innovation happens only at the children level. I mean, yes, you can try at the academic level, at a higher level, but trust me, it works from the age of 8 and below, not after that. This is where you start really to engender those. So those are the kind of things I would see it as inclusive. If you want to make a global citizen or prepare him for this kind of agenda, it has to be included in this part of that. The other one is, Dr. Samir, you mentioned, we all talked about strategies, and even you mentioned it. I beg you, in any of the coming presentation, because you touched on it, I'm more of a tactical, operational person. What we are missing in Egypt is we have beautiful policies, and at the end of the day, I haven't seen them either implemented or maybe the right skills, or maybe I don't know where is missing. But I think it has to also do with the delivery mechanism. Did we empower the civil society to tactically, we listen to them how to deliver, like we listen to them how you deliver a curriculum or whatever? I think those are the two main issues. Coming to a specific presentation, Shaimat, thank you so much. Don't be shy in saying NGOs and civil society encourage. It's a must. I'm sorry, I use a very strong language. In development, you have to fight for your corner, and you will find it in conferences that you have to put yourself in. I would change the language into must be. The other thing you mentioned is, you talked about the dialogues, research as what's needed to be done. I would add very much what is missing, more actionable, I call it solution-based actions. Okay, let me put it this way. Solution-based activities. Without this, I think the children, or we as educators or whatever, will never relate what's happening in the real world with your research or whatever. The second presentation, I'm coming one by one. Sustainability. When you talk about sustainability, this is something I can help you. It's voluntarily if you want. Financial sustainability. There are many little things you can do with an NGO level, a trust fund, equity fund, or whatever, that will maintain the kind of quality of education you're looking for. There is no way they come into donor agencies. I lost hope in governments and donor agencies. I'm coming from that background. So trust me, it's community at the community, and there are good examples in Kenya, Governorate of Kenya, where parents did lobby and advocate to have a fund, yes, little, 100,000, to keep certain quality. It could be wise if a program like this will advocate with parents or society, not only private sector, I work there, but at least this will encourage others so you have seed money. Put it in the next to or earmark it. It's your job as educators or researcher to tell them how to earmark it. They don't know. This is the operational part. The other thing, I'm shy to be an orphanage or whatever teaching. That's a branding issue. And there are lots of good people in our NGO that helped us to brand this kind of thing so to become proud. It's a community pride. If you engender that, trust me. One comment that I have to make, because I'm Egyptian, so I'll be biased. When somebody said it's culturally, we are not team operator. Well, we're coming from a different generation. In the 60s, Egyptians were team workers. But anyway, let's talk practical. If you go to Wadi Gidi, where I work, New Valley, St. Catherine, Sinai, and Newman, they are very collaborative. Why? Because they need to survive. It happened that we polluted our culture, so we are becoming what you know, urbanized, and this is the kind of sense. So I argue we have the sense of teamwork. It's, you see it only during revolution or whatever. Thank you, I'm sorry to take that much.
It's a little bit after 5, so allow me to thank all of you very much and thank our guests and also the comments that were voiced and faculty from GSE and also from NGOs and these. So these, we have coffee and I wouldn't call it food, but there is a break in the rack, so please go ahead and enjoy the dessert. Thank you very much.